Hello everybody, and welcome to the 5th episode of Let's Speedrun Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So in the last episode we took out the second dungeon, and in this episode we're going to be traveling from the second dungeon to the entrance of the third dungeon. But first I want to go back into the dungeon and come back out to respawn these flowers to show you a little trick that has to do with wall clipping. It's kind of the thing I was trying to go for in the third episode, but Bow Wow ate the flower, so I wasn't able to showcase it. If you wall clip and time it correctly, you can walk right past the flowers and avoid any damage. It's much faster. What we're doing here is we're going towards the entrance of the fourth dungeon, and we are going to... Oh, that's something you want to avoid if possible. That's a Guardian Acorn. It reduces your damage by half, but for the sake of this, the 100% walkthrough, there's really no reason to ever get one. So what we're doing here, that's the entrance to the fourth dungeon, is we're walking onto the tile that has that portal on it, saving and quitting, and immediately walking back out. The reason we do this is because the way the portals work in this game is if you, just as soon as you see the portal, you activate it and you can warp to it from any other portal in the game. So we're going to actually see the second portal, the tile just directly to the south of here, right here. So now I could warp in between those two tiles whenever I want to. So our next order of business is going to be returning Bow Wow to Madam Meow Meow. But before we do that, we're just going to walk up here and do a fishing minigame, because this will result in our second piece of heart. So controls are pretty simple. Just press A to throw the cast. You kind of have to get this first fish out of the way here first, before you can get the larger fish. The one we want is the one directly below us, but we have to get that first fish out of the way before we can do that. The fastest way to reel this fish in is to wait for him to get his attention drawn, and then pull it up so that there's less of a distance for you to have to button mash. So now we take that, do not try again, have little to no passion, and move on with our lives. So with that, we have our second piece of power, and talk to Madam Meow Meow, and we will return Bow Wow, and move on with the main story. As a result of returning Bow Wow, we will also get our third picture just by walking down here. This is a fun little picture. So yeah, our next order of business after this is going to be going back to the east near that portal that we saw. We're going to go farther to the east and gather the golden leaves. On the subject of equips, sometimes it's faster to have the bracelet out, even if the sword slashing animation is quicker than the bracelet. It can be faster sometimes to lift things up so that you don't have to bring up your pause menu, because the pause menu in the DX version especially takes a lot of time, and so you want to kind of make things as efficient as possible. And in that same vein, with efficiency, in the 100% version you can save and quit, so what you want to do is keep the items you're going to be using up near the top, because when you save and quit, the cursor automatically resets right here. So we want to keep our unused items like the shield, the shovel too, and the powder near the bottom. But first we want to get a picture here. This is actually one of the only permanently missable photos in the game, because once you enter the castle, you have to lower the drawbridge, and once you lower the drawbridge, you can never get this picture again. So I have a fun little picture with Ralph, I think? Oh god, I forgot his name. So here is where you need the bananas. You need the bananas to progress the side quest and also the main story. So yeah, I've always thought it's funny that you get a picture, you take that photo with Ralph even though you've never met Ralph before. They just kind of expect that you already know him. So here we get the stick for allowing the monkeys to use the, or allowing the monkeys to have the bananas. And here we want to just kind of walk across here. Also, jumping up ladders does save a little bit of time, just so you know. So that's why you'll see me jump every now and then. So here we get our first golden leaf by killing that guy. The strat is pretty much what I showed you. Just spin attack, jump towards him. Here the strat is downward sword spin. Oh, well, that was bad luck, but usually you can get all three of those enemies in one spin. Next we come over here, jump over the enemies, lower the drawbridge right there, or the gate, lower the gate, and move on to collect our next golden leaf, which is right here. We're going to use bomb arrows. We're going to bomb arrow to the left while we're on the stairs, then shoot an arrow at the enemy that comes out. So just like this, and get the golden leaf. So next we want to equip the power bracelet and move on. That guy looks pretty nasty. Usually he can be kind of annoying. You know, there's a lot of bad memories from me for taking him on, and it's just he's a really tough enemy, and you know, he's just really difficult, and he's dead. So as I've said before, the arrows are very overpowered at this point in the game. It is a little bit faster to save and quit after killing him as opposed to shooting, or as opposed to walking out. But I like to walk out and not risk the save and quit, because sometimes when I hit start select A and B, I'll accidentally shoot an arrow. And like I said, with the way I run 100%, it can get pretty tight on arrows, so I try not to risk it. So what you want to do is kill that guy, charge up a spin attack, and kill him. He takes, that crow takes 2 hits, so I spin attack. Oh, it was Richard, not Ralph. I'm silly. So save and quit here. Walk out of the castle. And progress down to Richard's house, who we've never met before, but hey, you know, what can you do? And, yeah, here comes another pretty long text box. Coming up here is our first difference between the any percent and 100% routes for a little while. We are going to collect the 4th secret seashell. It's in the cave in between Ralph's house and the maze that's coming up in just a minute. So here, walk into the cave and grab this secret seashell. And walk out here. The maze is a little bit of an interesting thing. If you jump, if you jump and sword slash, you can take out 2 hedges at once. So usually what you're supposed to do is walk around here, you know, down here, up there, blah blah blah. But we can sequence break this pretty easily if we just jump to break that bush, time it right, jump slash, and there you go. Can pretty much skip the entirety of the maze. Take the shovel, go down there, and get the slime key. Coming up here we have a really fun little trick that has to do... Wow, that was silly. I went too soon. So here we have a fun little trick that involves wall clipping, or tile clipping, I guess, not really wall. But what I like to do is really quickly go down and up as a safety strat, because if you overcompensate with this, you can fall in the hole, and it's easier to respawn here as opposed to respawning all the way up here and having to go back down. So if we kind of wall clip a little bit into the tile, walk right down, because the all of those bushes were there, there was no space for Link to be when he walked down, because he was technically in that tile, so it forces him down all the way here and out of the maze, and it saves a lot of time. It's a really neat little trick that's just simple, saves a lot of time. So here we're going towards the slime cave entrance. Here we have a little bit more fun with wall clipping. This is the best way to demonstrate wall clipping versus non-wall clipping. As you can see, there's a little space between Link's head and the little top of the slime right here. But if we wall clip in like that, there's no space. And so if you charge your sword, walk down, and then hit down and left, hit diagonally, you wall clip into the hitbox for the keyhole, and open up the 3rd dungeon. So in the next episode, we're going to take on the 3rd dungeon, and yeah, so thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.